Hey there guys. Today I'm going to do a little walkthrough of Samplr by Marcos Alonso. This is an absolute iPad classic app, one of those apps that really takes advantage of the touchscreen. The only thing is, it's not an AUV3 plugin. It is inter-app audio. Inter-app audio is going to be deprecated, but to be honest, Samplr is the kind of app that you can just enjoy, using it with no connectivity anyway, and just playing around inside it. So, I just wanted to start with this to show you can absolutely do like beat-based stuff in Samplr, because if you look on YouTube and stuff, you'll see that generally a lot of the demo videos and stuff are like more on the ambient side, right? But we can totally do this sort of thing. And we can do cool stuff like here I can, let's say, shuffle these drums. Or let's, transpose them up. I'll bring them back down again. So here, this is our piano. This is shuffling the piano as transposed up. Back to normal. Shuffle off. Let's bring in this sax. So Samplr on sale for $5 at the moment. I had no idea how long that'll last for. Really good deal. Also, by the way, let me just pause these a second. Also, by the way, this is, if you have Logic, Sample Alchemy in Logic is based on this, and it's the same developer. He works for Apple now. Okay, so let's take a look at the UI and go through the controls. I'll just stop that a second. So it's very easy to miss that this is not just an icon with the Samplr logo. If you click in here, you have all these different settings. You can save your project, you can load projects, and so on. You can sync with Ableton Link and stuff like that, right? And some other settings there. Oh, by the way, yeah, this in a recent update got all MIDI control added. You can, trigger the slices and things in this from your keyboard. You can even trigger the loops and stuff from your keyboard. And you can do all MIDI learn. You want to set up your a button on your MIDI controller to control pause and play and so on. You can do all that, right? Here, this is the settings for the sample that we've got loaded here. And you can set how many bars, beats per bar. You've also got panning there, right? Kind of hidden away. It's a pity that's not a performance control, really. Here you can, load samples. This is one thing, because of the sandboxing and stuff on iOS, if you go into samples and load, you've got all these samples that have been taken into the app here. If you want more samples in there, you're going to want to import from Dropbox or AudioShare. In here, there are some demos to get you started as well. And okay, we've got export, sample, copy, export to AudioShare and stuff like that as well. So let's go more for the actual, the main controls. So here, I'm going to press this button and then this to start playing that. Now I've set that to have Ableton Link, so it'll sync with AUM here. And I can play and pause it from AUM. If I press play here, it'll wait until the next bar in AUM to start playing, right? So here we're looking at the sax. We're not hearing it. So let's click here. This is the only thing we're hearing at the moment. So we got a volume control here. Now, let me turn off this autoplay a second. So here, this is slice mode. So now if I tap, it'll play a slice. Here's our attack and release. Let me see what it's like when I pull that release down. Actually makes no difference on this one. It does make a massive difference on some. Okay. Here we can reverse the whole sample. right? With this button here. This here is called something called Attack Quantize. I have not figured out what that actually does. This is autoplay sync to the BPM. Now, depending on what you're playing, you might get some, like let's see the sax thing here. You see how that sounds kind of sliced up? So I mean, if you wanted to play all through without any of that, you can use this loop mode instead. And you see all those markers have been taken off. And now that's totally smooth, beautiful. If I want to pause this, tap here and press here, right? Okay, let's go back to the drums a second. So here we've got a loop mode. For this, you use 2 fingers on the screen. And one finger will start the loop and the other one will set the end of the loop. Now note that it will sometimes snap to these markers, right? So you could set this to 0 if you don't want any of that kind of snapping behavior. Also, if you kind of like twist your fingers, like here, my ring finger is to the right of my middle finger. If I sort of twist my hand around, now I'm reversing the sample. Really cool. Now, here, if we press this, it will limit the available loop lengths to make sure they sync to the project, right? You know, it's going to be 16th beats, 8th beats, quarter beats, and all that. This doesn't have any dotted or triplet values or anything in as far as I can see, which is a pity. Here, let me just turn that quantize off. Here, this does a ping pong. Right? Now again, here we can set our markers, right? And if I tap here, then we can drag these markers to adjust them, right? We can tap to add a new marker, and you just kind of drag down to get rid of a marker. Now I'm just going to go back and load this project again. Just a sec. And now we're back to just hearing the drums. All right. So again, transpose here. There's also something, if your loops are of different lengths, it can adjust your loop to make it fit whatever the tempo is here. It'll just measure how long it is in seconds or whatever to make it fit. We don't need that on. I'm going to take that off. If that's on, we don't get all those options, right, for the transposing. Okay. So this is called bow mode. And here, this sets the width of that. So this is granular, basically. Now, do you see that taking a while to fade out there? So remember, this is polyphonic, right? So I think each one is, I think it's up to 16 voices, if I remember right. Now here, this is cool. And this is also polyphonic, this scratch mode. So here you just touch the screen, and if we drag over to the right, it's going forwards, and the further we drag to the right, the faster it goes. Right? Now, if we drag to the left, it's going in reverse. And the more we drag over to the left, the faster it gets. And as I say, it's poly. So, we can have two of these. So now I've got one going forwards. And I took my finger off the screen there, right? So it fades out. So, another thing, this is very useful here, this little hold button. So let me just, I'll just make two of these. So I'm going to make one going forwards. And I'm going to make one going back slowly. And then I press this, and now I've taken my fingers off the screen, and those are held there. And now I can just drag them around. And again, I've taken my fingers off the screen there. Now I'm touching that with my finger, and now I've taken the finger off the screen. And then we clear that hold by ticking that X. So we can also record things, and you see there we've got a little countdown, right? And now I just depressed that, and now it's playing back my recording. That's all quantized, and I can again get rid of that here if I want. So that's really fun. So here there's an ARP mode. So, oh, by the way, also very important, in these different modes, if you press lower down, you've got lower velocity. So let me just show you with the mouse. See there, very low velocity. Drag up, now it's getting louder, higher velocity, right? So let me just get a few of these. Okay, and I'm going to slide those up, get them nice and loud, and press the hold there, right? So I can leave that, and then here, if I tap here, it's slowing down. Tap here, speeding up. Again, no dotted or triplet, such a pity. Here, changing upwards, right? Low, middle, high note. Up and down, random. And this one, I think this is the order that you put your fingers down or something. So that's as fast as it can go. Playing with the slices there. Oh, it's nice that you can do that after the fact, isn't it? And transpose works there too. Tap this to remove that hold. So, I can do all of that manually, just pressing each one separately. Let's move on to the bass, maybe. So here, we've got a keyboard mode. And so play lower down. It'll be lower pitched. Up here it's higher pitched. Right? And here's just a loop. This one, there are no performance controls. Now, by the way, if you're using the standalone app where it has the AUM icon here, instead of that, there'll be a question mark, and you press that question mark and you'll get in-app help. It's a pity there's no manual on the website. I always think that every app should have a manual on the website. It shouldn't only be people who have the app who have access to a manual. Maybe I'm missing something, but I did search and I could not find anything. So let's jump on to the sax one here. and I've just put it on the bow mode here. So again, here's that width. And now remember, this, you see, it's snapping to these markers, right? So if I don't want that kind of snapping behavior, just take the markers off, just go to 0. Or you could take them manually away from a certain patch. And so now I'm playing this with the right hand and I'm playing this with the left hand. Now, let's just hold that by pressing this and look at the effects. So we've got separate effects for each sample. So here I'm just effecting the sax sample. Remember, whatever you've got selected is down here at the bottom. It's got a little red line under it. So this is a distortion where I forget which is X and which is Y, but one's amplitude, one's the amount of clipping. Y is amplitude, X is clipping, I think. That can be very useful if you use record here. You know, you can record your input, right? Let me just do that for a second. Let me just record something. Okay. So that's that recorded. This can be very useful for making your recordings louder. By default, it seems this is not set to full, so you can, play around with the volume here to adjust the input volume. That'll affect how loud your recording is. Now, I just recorded that over that, which I didn't mean to. So I'm going to just tap here again. Right. So, oops, here we go. So here, this third one, this is AM, amplitude modulation. So you're controlling the frequency and the amount with the XY pad. This is the filter section. High or low. Delay, time, and feedback amount. And reverb. And again, all separate, so that reverb is not affecting the drums at all. Just tap on the drums. Want to beef that up a little bit, just bring this distortion up. Let's see. The delay. Right, so you get the idea there. So I think I've looked at everything. One thing, note that you can also record your mix. So you can just record everything onto one track, and then perform that as well, or just then leave space to bring in other things, because remember, you only have space for 6 samples. So it's an app. I pulled this out today when I realized it was on sale. I thought, I'm going to do a walkthrough on this, but I had to refresh my own memory of it because I hadn't used it in ages. I would use this more if it was an AUV3. For my own workflow, plugins are my preference, But I really have to say, I'm so glad that Samplr has been maintained, but it makes me a bit sad as well, to be honest, because this is a reminder of, how great iPad apps used to be. This niche is not as hot, say, as it was 10 years ago. And it's a pity because, iPads have improved so much in terms of their power. And we've got so many apps available now. We've got a whole plug-in thing. You got, loads of different DAWs and everything, Logic and stuff. And here, AUM, which is what I really love and feel very at home in. But what we don't have so much these days is these kind of apps that actually really take advantage of the touchscreen, like this one does. Apps that feel really like an instrument and that are just fun to play with. Now, it's not necessarily totally intuitive. I think for a lot of people, if they pull this out, they might have to play around with it a fair bit to figure it out if they didn't look at the manual. But it's just because it's using these symbols, And once you get to know what these mean, it's very easy to work your way around this app. But the main thing about this app is just how enjoyable it is to interact with. And the fact that it is really designed for a touchscreen, and it's designed to be multi-touch, and it's designed to feel like an instrument. So now we get so many desktop ports that aren't designed for iPad, that don't really take advantage of the touchscreen. You also have problems like a lot of developers themselves come from a kind of paradigm where they just think in terms of desktop plugins. They think in terms of what works well with a mouse, and that's the way they make things. Or you have things where developers come mainly from maybe a hardware background, and they think a lot about hardware. And, that's fine, but it's honestly not good enough. The iPad is a touch instrument, and developers should really be trying to make cool instruments that, look beautiful and that feel beautiful to play. And this is definitely one of them. So developers, more of this, please. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thanks a lot to everybody supporting me, whether it's devs sponsoring videos or people supporting me on Patreon or people using affiliate links. If you value this channel, please do look at the pinned comment and see if there are any ways that you could support me that would suit your, how much you like this channel and your own circumstances and so on. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take it easy.